Yes, I. Welcome to Christadelphia. Thanks for tuning in again. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself at this time. This is Black Sun, and today I am going to show you the difference between being conscious and being cultural. There are a lot of people out there who claim to be conscious. A lot of conscious brothers and a lot of conscious sisters. And in many reasoning sessions, I have told you guys that I am not a conscious brother. But just because I'm not a conscious brother, that does not mean that I'm not a cultural brother. See? When you're conscious, you might have a little bit of awareness of self and a little bit of awareness of culture. But when you're cultural, you live it, you walk it. It's not about talking it and looking like you're indigenous with your indigenous apparel, with your dashikis, with your feathers, and with your fezzes. Yes, you know, my skin tone alone and the way I walk shows you that I'm indigenous without any apparel. Now, there's nothing wrong with rocking a little indigenous apparel to, you know, represent. Because indigenous people gotta rep something. That's what we've been doing, you know, and we still do that to this day. Indigenous people, I don't care if they repping a block, they repping a hood, you know, representing where you come from or where you think you came from is something that indigenous people have been doing for eons. You know, that's in our blood. See? So, shout out to all my Shaka-Maximites and Amaru-khan people. The people from Amaru or Amaru-khan. My Amaru-khan people. Not American, but Amaru people. See? My Amaru people are the children of Amma. Mama Amma. See? Or who some call Un Amatu. So yes, we are Amaru-khan. I'm not American, okay? See? I might have an American accent, so per se, so-called American accent, but I'm not American, I'm Amaru-khan, okay? Indigenous one. So, let's take a little look at these Dutch masters here. If you ever get a time to look at the brothers that's on the Dutch master boxes and the Dutch master, Dutch master products, when you take a real good look at them, especially if you ever had a Dutch master box from back in the day, before all of these newer so-called roll-ups came out, you know, most people dealt with the Dutch masters. And when you look at these Dutch masters, do you really think any of those guys would be really happy to see your indigenous ass or want to talk to your conscious behind? No. We are the Dutch masters, you know. We showed those Dutch people how to cultivate and grow tobacco, okay? See, so today I'm going to be making a little tobacco lavender spirit cleansing bath, see? So I got some lavender here. Got a little bit of rose, some rose of Sharon, some echinacea, some evergreen, some pine. You know, the evergreen is for endurance, because when all of the other trees start to dwindle away in the fall time and drop their leaves, you know, you have some plants who stay green all throughout the winter time. Now right now in the summer, but even in the winter time, the evergreen is green. See? So all of these flowers have metaphysical properties to them. See? So a lot of people, they do rituals, and when they're partaking in a ritual, they take a Dutch master, they split it open, and they dump the tobacco out. But I can, excuse me, I can show you something more productive to do with your tobacco guts. That's a bag of tobacco guts right there. See? So I'm gonna place this tobacco in the water because this is a tobacco lavender bath. Of course, it has other botanical properties in it. I'm gonna drop these flowers in the bath. Put the lavender in there. Bam. The rose of Sharon. Bam. Put everything up in that water. Let it marinate. You feel me? Now, some would say,
oh my gosh, you know, smoking tobacco is not healthy. That's actually bad for your health and it's not spiritual at all.
okay, I'm not disagreeing with that, but a lot of people place cigarettes and cigars and tobacco on the altars as a offering to the spirits. So if spirits engage with the tobacco, and if spirits smoke cigars and smoke tobacco, then you cannot say that smoking is not spiritual if spirits smoke. You know, I had to make you think on that one. You are down in tune. You already know. Of course, I'm going to add a little tecate in there, you know, for the Thunderbird image or the Thunderbird energy, because that's not the American eagle. Of course, this is Mexican bird. This is Thunderbird. And to let you know, for all of my indigenous people, Thunderbird really does exist. Thunderbird is not just a mythological character. It's a real being. It's a real entity. And people are starting to see Thunderbirds again because their third eye might be awakened. So yes, Thunderbird is a real bird, y'all. Don't believe me, look it up. Anyway, got some rum here. Pour a little rum in there real fast. A little coconut water. Now, coconut water along with white flowers. All white flowers are for purifying yourself and cleansing yourself. Lavender is a spirit cleansing agent. It cleanses your mind, it cleanses your mood, it cleanses the negative energies on your subtle body. That's why a lot of people use lavender scented things to help change their mood or whatever. Okay? So that's old school. That's old. And I'm not using Fabuloso or something supposedly that has lavender in it. I'm using real lavender, okay? So, pour a little rum in there. I don't know if I did that already. But if I did, we're going to pour some more, okay? I'm going to pour a little bourbon in there. Bam.
Well, alcohol, that's not spiritual.
Well, when you go to the liquor store, it's called the wine and spirit shop. So I add the liquor for an element of spirit. See? So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to take you through the whole process of this spirit bath, but I'm just showing you a little culture right now. I'm going to take this down to the creek and let the Native American spirit hover over it a little bit before I boil it up, because I am going to boil this into a little stew. You know, I'm going to look like a little witch with a little witch pot for a second, but it's cool. Now let's take a walk down to the creek with me for a second. That's a little nest or bird nest that I made. I know it's kind of corny, but it's cool. But when you feed the animals and when you feed nature, you are giving offerings to the mother. You're giving offerings to the earth. So when you feed the birds or whatever animals outside of your house, that is giving offering. Seeing, just like you take $1 and you throw it in the offering pot, it's the same principle. You will receive benefit from that, okay? So let's come down to the creek. Watch out for the mosquitoes, baby. They out here. Now, let me hold on tight to my phone because I don't want it to fall in the water, okay? Hold on 1 second. So this is what they call in Santeria cosmology the native or the lucky Indian, or the lucky Native American spirit, lucky Indian spirit, whatever you want to call it. See? Dutch master. Now, I got this so-called lucky Indian from a burnt down smoke shop up on Cheltenham Avenue. There was a smoke shop that burnt down, and it was a big pile of ashes and all types of burnt up bullshit sitting in the pile, you know. So I went over there, and as I, you know, because I wanted to, you know, see if anything might be over there in the pile that, you know, I was drawn to the pile for some reason. I was drawn to a pile of ashes and burnt up material. So I went over to the burnt smoke shop, and I looked through the pile and I found this Native American or lucky Indian. And I used to always be drawn to it when I used to go to the smoke shop before it was burnt down. I always noticed it and I always was drawn to it. It was in the window. And it was in a pile with a whole bunch of bullshit that was burnt to ashes. But somehow this lucky Indian survived. He has a couple bruises on him, but he survived. And that grabbed my attention. The energy was resonating from it real strong, and I had to grab it. I seen the story behind it, and I said, yes, this is really a lucky Indian. So I took it, you know. So that's why it says Dutch Master on it, because it came from a smoke shop, you know. I would have no clue where to get a Dutch Master statue. But the universe, you know, gave this to me, you know, because I used to always walk past it and look at it and say, damn, I want one. Anyway, so be careful what you name your shop, because that shop really did smoke up. And it had smoke shop on the sign. I'm just joking, but anyway, had to make sure you was paying attention. You feel me? So let me light some incense real fast. I'm going to sit that pot of botanical substances in this creek to get some of that Lenape indigenous energy flowing in it, if you know what I mean. So, Spanish people in their cosmology of Santeria, they pay homage to the Native American spirit. But that lucky Indian or indigenous spirit dwells within. You already know. I am the lucky Indian. Yamassie. So that spirit bath is called the Yamassie Tobacco Abundance and Cleansing Bath. See? Where is your culture? Are you keeping it alive, or are you just looking cultural but just really conscious? There's nothing wrong with being conscious. Now, back in the day, when I was a youngin', I was conscious. And I was conscious before conscious became mainstream. Now, there's a shitload of people claiming to be conscious in this big conscious community, and I come to find it to be a lot of fuckery in 2019. You know, people are just trying to look indigenous. But where are your indigenous rituals? Where is your cosmology? Are you just talking about culture, or are you cultural? See? So now in 2019 and everyone's conscious, I am not a conscious person anymore because I have evolved to a higher state of awakening. So I am awakened. And I've reasoned with you guys before on that. So no disrespect to anybody who claims to be conscious. See, but we have to keep that culture alive today. And what's relevant, and keep that culture connected to what's relevant today. See, a lot of people can relate to Dutch masters because they have probably partaken in a Dutch master ritual before. So why can't I show my Amaru-khan people and my Amaru-khan brothers and sisters a more cultural way to partake in the Dutch master energy? I know y'all thinking like, yo, this guy is fucking out there, ain't he? No, I'm not. I used to be, though. So, the so-called lucky Indian is for, you know, good fortune, prosperity, abundance, you know. So, of course, you might see this Indian a lot in a bunch of businesses. And people don't just place a lucky Indian in their window shop for just decoration. It's for the energy. It's to keep the flow or the currency of cash and customers or whatever that they're trying to draw to their business. You already know. See? So, I got some red tiger eye sitting next to some sunstone. And I'm going to give you a quick way to really juice up and spice up and boost the energy of your gemstones. You can take a magnifying glass, or you can take some thick glasses if you happen to have thick glasses like I and I self. You can, just like you used to see kids fry ants and bugs with the magnifier glass, when you put the magnifier glass under the sun and create a beam of concentrated light from the magnifier glass from the sun, you create heat. And you can actually set paper on fire and wood on fire with a pair of glasses or a magnifier glass. See? So what you do is you take your stone or sunstone per se, and you sit it under the sun. You take your magnifier glass or your glasses, and you create that same beam of energy, and you beam it to your crystal. Instead of burning up an ant like a young bull or a kid, you can use that same beam to charge your crystals to a higher level. Now, because you're intensifying that solar energy, you know. So since I'm talking about the sunstone right now, you know, that would be a good stone, or any solar stone, to put under that beam of sun energy or solar energy. So the reason why paper and bugs set on fire under that magnifier glass is because you create heat and fire. So what you do is you take the beam from the sun, from the magnifier glass, and you beam your intentions into the crystal. While you simultaneously beam it up. Okay? So, I always promote free thinking, and I don't try to get people to believe in what I believe in or try to adapt my way of thinking. I just drop jewels. Ask your mastermind if I'm trying to kick knowledge, no, but I'm trying to show you some things that you can apply. I at this time am going through a serious transition. I'm going through a mental transition, a spiritual transition, and even a living transition. Seen? So I'm taking the time to align myself with the divine and get involved with nature and my culture to assist me through this transition. You know, spirituality ain't all peaches and cream. But it sounds wonderful for those who talk about spirituality all the time. Yeah, oh, spirituality, da, 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 da. Yeah, that's cool. But when you really get into the rituals and the cultures and the cosmology of the ancestors, it's not always peaches and cream. We have to do a lot of spiritual work and light work to stay in tune and stay aligned with the divine. I don't care how many dashikis and lectures you wore and watched. I don't care how metaphysical and esoteric you sound and how much you know about your roots or what you think you know about your roots and your origins. At this time, it's about activating the gods and goddesses and the ancestors and not just sitting around talking about them. Just because you talk about a god or goddesses or you talk about some conscious shit doesn't mean that you're activating it. Okay? So, for all my Ama people, children of Ama or Amaru-khan people from North America and South so-called America and the so-called West Indies, remember who you are. Remember, you are the original, the aboriginal, the indigenous one. Seen? And here in Shaka Maxim, so-called Philadelphia, the indigenous people were always by the creek, always by the river, always by the ponds and the streams, doing their rituals. We are the Dutch masters. Why? Because we are the masters of the Dutches. They ain't know shit about tobacco until they ran into the indigenous one, or who they call the red man. They didn't tell you about Yamassie. They didn't tell you about Washita. They didn't tell you about Chickasaw. They didn't tell you about the black so-called Indians. See? So, for all my Yamassie warriors and all of my emperors and empresses, get thanks. Find your indigenous spirit. Find your so-called lucky Indian. Activate it. Start doing your own rituals. Stop sounding conscious and just be cultural. See? Yes, I can dress up and wear feathers in my head to represent how indigenous people looked thousands of years ago. Or I can keep the culture alive and keep living in the now. Because 1,000 years from now, people are going to be looking at fitted caps and looking at, you know, the style that we have now and saying that that's indigenous. So just like the Moors like to rock a fez and soft caps and say, hey, look, this is what we wore back when we were ancient. This time now will be ancient in the future, you know. So we got to keep the noun alive and stop just looking cultural and being cultural. Forget all of that talk, man. It's time to chant Babylon down anyway, see? You know? So, the real cultural people don't do too much chatting anyway, because the more you chat about cultural, you know, the more people want to debate and argue and all of that other fuckery. So just keep it alive through your actions. See, all these people talking about them being Native American and all of that, but yeah, all I hear is a bunch of deep sounding talk, people reading the Black's Law Dictionary, trying to, you know, beat the system through civics and all of that. But when you go back to the roots and the culture, you know, that is the true Moorish science. The Moors were not reading the Black's Law Dictionary. They were just dealing with the laws of nature, what you guys call natural law. So when you deal with nature and you connect with the natural forces, then you are dealing with natural law without studying a bunch of codes and statutes on civics and all of this other stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to get too long-winded on this. I just wanted to reason with you guys and give you a couple jewels that you can probably run with and put your own twist on. See? Make sure that you stay aligned with the frequency of the divine and get all of the toxic, negative thoughts and thought forms up out of your mind. It's hard, I know. I'm not perfect. I'm not conscious. You know, I might be yearning to be one with the gods today and punch somebody in the face tomorrow. I'm not perfect. See? But I do tell you this, I'm real. I'm a realist. Not an optimist or a pessimist. I'm a realist. I deal with the reality. See? And reality is something that a lot of people are scared of. A lot of women say, I want a real man. But the word real is inside of reality. And a lot of my sisters and brothers can't handle that reality. You can't handle realness. But you say you want something real. We live in an artificial paradigm where everything artificial and genetically modified is what people are attracted to. And anything organic and natural, people try to stay away from it. You know? So, get thanks. Start researching your Amaru-khan origins and true Amaru-khan history. And become one with your lucky Indian or your indigenous spirit. See? You are now in tune on the wonder force itself at this time. Get thanks.